Hey, what's going on, everybody? You already know it is Wednesday night. It is 9:30. That's right, prime time. Even though we're not in the playoffs, we still are prime time. My name is Paul Spencer. That, of course, is Dave Yarnell, the showstopper. Davey, what's going on, brother?
Not much, Paul. How you been, man?
I've been okay, man. I'm craving some football right now, but I mean, what else can I do? You know what I mean? We still
Yeah.
have half a season to go here. We have till August, but I'm craving football. But it's all good, brother. How you been though?
I'm good. Just doing my thing. I miss football as much as everybody else. I'm sorry it's over, but congrats to Kansas City with their Super Bowl win.
Yeah.
Well deserved. And it's now everybody's 0-0, and it's time to get back to the drawing board.
Yeah, well, at least we can say we're undefeated, and this is our year, right? When we're 0-0,
Oh, we
right?
say that every year, but
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but first, congratulations to Kansas City. Well fought victory. Patrick Mahomes did his thing. Reed, Spags, they did their job. So congratulations to them. But you know what? I guess we have to knock off the best of the pedestal, and that's Kansas City right now. But until we get to what we need to talk about, draft picks, we need to talk about free agency. We need to talk about a new DC tonight, Dave. We need to talk about a lot tonight. So let's dive into. First, I want to ask you, how's the weather down there, man, in Philly?
Down here it's about 34, 35.
Okay,
Not too bad. Cold in the mornings though, like 22, 23. But today was I guess it was about 30. I won't say the high was 36 or 37, something like that.
Well, I think you
But
guys are higher than us today. Oh, lower than
a little
us today.
chilly, but a little chilly in the mornings. But kind of like the afternoon's not too bad.
Yeah, it was nice out today. I was outside, shorts outside, having fun. About to cut the grass, I think. But knowing my luck,
Not that yet. We're not there yet.
Yeah, knowing my luck, it'll snow tomorrow up here. But Dave, you know what? Let's talk about some topics here real quick. I'm just going to go over our tonight's topics. Of course, tonight we're going to be talking about Mike Zimmer, a familiar face in Dallas. He's coming back. That's our DC. Also, we're going to talk about free agency talk. Who should be going? Who should be staying for us? Of course, I do want to touch about a subject, Micah Parsons, who made a quote that he loves, Dan Quinn so much. He's a free agent next year. Not this year we signed him, but next year he's a free agent. Does he go? Do we pay him now? If he doesn't accept the offer, does that give writing on the wall to where he might go? Also, I want to talk about one name. Jimmy Johnson is on the board of advisory for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I didn't know we had an advisor board. I had no idea about that. Is that news to you? Because I never heard of it.
I never heard of it either. But I'll tell you what, as long as Jimmy Johnson's on it, I'm cool with it. You know what I mean?
I totally agree. Welcome back, Double J, man.
Definitely. Well, let's talk about one person here, Mike Zimmer. He's our big. We talk about signings and all that coming up, but when you get a DC as your big signing, you lose Dan Quinn, who arguably. Going back to like Wade Phillips days, how he ran this team, of course, even going back to Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer was a great guy, but losing Dan Quinn, Dave, this is something where, we always had the offense. We didn't have the defense. Now we have the defense. We have a somewhat par offense who shows up half the time, of course, but this defense kept us in one mini games for us, Dave. Losing Dan Quinn, let's talk about that first. What is that going to mean to us losing Dan Quinn? Even before we bring in Mike Zimmer, what's that mean?
Losing Dan Quinn, it's going to hurt a little bit because a lot of the players were very close to Dan Quinn. A lot of the defensive players loved him the way he did things, and he was good with the guys and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, you can't as a coach, you can't be best friends with a coach. And I think that's where it was with Dan Quinn. Like Micah was close to him, and I want to say D Law was kind of close to him. I mean, guys like that really loved Dan Quinn, and I understand that. I mean, you lose a coach like that, it's tough. He was there 4 years, 5 years, something like that.
4 years, yeah.
4 years, it's a long time if you think about it. And you get close to a guy like that who's been who's actually knows his football. He's been head coach before in Atlanta. He's been around. He's been around the league. But sometimes when it gets down to business, welcome Mike Zimmer, because Mike Zimmer he don't take no crap from anybody. So I'm kind of liking that. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, I mean, going back to what you said there, Dan Quinn was a player coach, of course, but there's a difference. What I see, Dave, as being a player coach and bringing out the best of your players. And he's a no nonsense type of guy. We know that, how he demands excellence.
Sure.
He tells you what it is. And when you go back to the Parson, Dave, we watched the Hard Knocks. We watched the preseason where, okay, Micah, you're out. No, coach, I want to play one more game. I want to show you what I have. I know what you can do. Players buy into Dan Quinn's system, Dave. That's what I'm going to miss about it, because when we see Dan Quinn's defense, it's not just one guy on the ball, Dave. It is 11 hats, one ball. And Zimmer does the same thing, Dave, but This is a scheme defense, and that defense flew around. He made Diggs. He made Deron Bland out of something that nobody, unless we were not named Paul Spencer, we knew what Deron Bland was.
No, and I hear you, and I hear what you're saying. I mean, we're gonna have we're gonna miss a lot of guys who want to go with Dan Quinn over to Washington. And I understand that. That's completely understandable. But to me, Mike Zimmer, last time he was here, man, we won a championship with Zimmer. And I know back in '94. I mean, I know that was a long time ago, and I get that. But I mean, Mike Zimmer to me, I mean, he was 8 years in Minnesota.
Yeah, he was there from 14 to 21, Dave.
Yeah, he was there a long time with Minnesota, and he's been here before, so he knows the ropes around here. He's very close to the Jones family. They like him. They respect him very much to bring him back. Right. Which is huge. And I think, and Mike Zimmer doesn't take crap from anybody. I mean, he may not look one of those kind of guys, but when it comes down to playing, man, he'll get on your ass. And if you're not too careful, you might be sitting the bench. So I'm just saying.
When I first, Dave, I was thinking, like, okay, the breaking news. I put a thing on Twitter. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be Belichick? That's not going to fit with the puppet master. That's not going to work. Number one. Vrabel's the defensive minded, DC. Will he come? Will Pete Carroll step off, the board of directory same as Dallas has with Jimmy Johnson? Will he come aboard? Will Dan Quinn stay? Will Joe Witt come up? Stay? Well, he left with Dan Quinn, of course.
That's who I thought personally. I thought Joe Witt was going to get the job because he was behind Quinn the whole time. So
that's who I thought it was. Joe Witt. I remember we commented before the season ended, Dave. We talked about if Dan Quinn goes. When I mentioned Joe Witt, I said that, his quote was, "I've learned under Dan Quinn. I know his system. I'm not going to change a thing." So I'm thinking like, okay, you know what? We got our man in place right now. Promote within, same defense, same philosophy. But I'll tell you what, Dave, Mike Zimmer's a good guy. But I thought, honestly, Dave, when I mentioned those names, is just Mike Zimmer best available as a DC, Dave? Or
not really, if you think about it. I mean, like you said, the names before, you could have had Mike Vrabel, which that was my pick. I wouldn't have minded Vrabel because I liked him and I loved him when he was with Tennessee. I was a fan of that. I think there was more better picks than Mike Zimmer, but I think Mike Zimmer got the job because A, he's been here before. B, he knows the Joneses. They know him very well and respect him. And C, he just it's experience, and he knows the game, and he was very, like I said, he did well in Minnesota. He was out there, so I got no problem with it. I really don't.
And I like it. A lot of times we always say like Dan Quinn went to Atlanta. He's a defensive coach. Of course, he went to the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl didn't pan out his way. Of course, we know what happened there. But then you got Mike Zimmer, who was our DC from 2000, 2006, 6 years as a DC, straight DC here. Then he goes, to Cincinnati as a DC as well. Played okay there. Then he went to the Vikings, of course. To me, what I see from Zimmer is he's going to pin his ears back and he's going to chase the quarterback fast. And the thing is, too, what tells me we'll get into draft picks, Dave. The one player that sticks out in Minnesota to me on the secondary is the guy from Notre Dame, Harrison Smith, that safety.
You've mentioned him before. Yeah.
I'm not saying we're going to go get him, but I like Zimmer because he likes back secondary players. He's always had that secondary player that is the quarterback for the team. But when you got a guy like Parsons up front who plays DN and plays linebacker, you go out and get that strong safety out there because J-Ron Kearse and Jordan Lewis, they're trash to me, and that.
I think Jordan Lewis. I think you just brought up Jordan Lewis. I think Jordan Lewis might go to Dan Quinn in Washington. I don't.
You know what? You know what, Dave? If that happens, you know what? You can go there and say,
you would be a happy camper about it. That's for sure.
Right, I would. Damn right, I would.
To me, if you watch the last 3 or 4 games of the season, Jordan Lewis came up big a couple times. So to me, you know me, I'm a J. Lou guy. So I would miss him, but it is what it is.
Well, 2 out of 17, Dave's not bad for the season, right?
No, it's not.
Hey, every blind squirrel finds a ball once in a while, David. I guess he found his.
Yeah, but he got him, so he was off an injury, so it took him a while to come back.
That's a hell of a long time, Dave, to come back. Rob Hefter checking in. What's going on, Rob? Rob says, "What's up, fella?" Rob, a.k.a. the mayor of Las Vegas.
Hey, Rob, what's up, man? Thanks for checking in.
He says, "Hope you guys are doing well, Rob. Hope you guys you and Celeste are doing good out in Vegas."
Rob, we're doing what we can, dude. We're doing what we can.
Yeah, I know you're out there enjoying that weather, man. We're out here, shoveling snow.
Freezing our butt off every morning.
Yeah. One thing he has to worry about is hotel casinos flooding once in a while. I've seen the
Yeah, other than that, exactly.
Hope all's well, brother. Thanks for tuning in, Rob. Appreciate that, man. Hope all's
well. Checking in, Rob. Appreciate it.
But, getting back to Mike Zimmer here, I mean, when Zimmer was the DC for Dallas and Cincinnati, he played a well defense there. I think this defense actually on paper is good for him, Dave. I think he'll adjust to this too. But I think there's a couple pieces – which we'll get into a draft, of course. I think he goes defense right away because
he probably will.
Set. I think he's going to be in that, that room there saying, hey, look, you brought me in. I love the pieces that I have, the puzzle pieces, but I need one or two guys to make that 11 defense, 11, personnel.
And I'm sure they'll go into the draft and they'll get that one or two guys that they're looking for. I mean, I think they're the 24th pick in the draft. I think it's 24th.
I mean, I hope so. I mean, you think about it. I mean, I think it's a great pick for us, Dave. I'm happy about it. At first, I was thinking like, Dave, I'm old school. I'm 50. I'm turning 53 this year, and I'm thinking like, man, if I was out of coaching for 4 years, Dave, time has passed me by for a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I forgot who it was. Somebody made a great point to me: is offense changes week to week. Defenses really don't as much as an offense does.
No.
So, I mean, if you got a good scheme and you got a good philosophy, and number one, those two, but the most important thing is when you have your guys buy into your system like they bought into Dan Quinn's system, this defense could still be elite, Dave.
It can, but actually, it was that. What were we top 5, 6 this year?
We were 4 total in total.
I thought I knew we were top 5. And I think we can stay there with Mike Zimmer, who's he's going to bring in his guys, of course. From I think he brought in some guy from Cincinnati already, from what I heard.
Yeah, he's bringing his people. And
he's going to bring his people in there, and it's going to be a whole new defensive scheme, I guess.
I don't want to say all new, Dave. There's one guy.
No, not all new, but it'll be a little new here and there. But these guys are good. It depends who stays. And like I said, we don't know anything about Mike Zimmer yet because we haven't seen him. So yeah, but I think it's going to be okay. I really do.
I agree too. The one guy that I'm really happy that stayed here, showed his true colors to stay with Dallas, is Al Harris.
Thank the Lord. I was so scared that he was going to go to Washington because Washington's taking all of our coaches. And I was like, if Al Harris goes, we're in trouble. But thank God.
He's under he's not under the Dan Quinn tree, under that philosophy. But his mentality, coaching players, is the same way, Dave. You see him on the sidelines walking up to players saying, okay, laugh with them real quick and say, you know what, hey, Dave, that was a good one, Dave. Yeah, you missed that, Dave, but now it's time.
They gave him a title, too. I know they gave him a title. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know it's a defensive title somewhere.
I think it's something like assistant defensive coordinator.
Something in that role, which is huge. I mean, that's big. He's got him and Zimmer are going to be talking a lot, so that's good.
And he's that corner coach who gets in there, digs, look what he did with Bland this year. Look what he did.
I can't wait till Diggs comes back. I'm excited about Diggs. I cannot wait. Diggs and Overshawn. Oh God, I cannot wait to see those two.
Oh, what name? Wait, what name did you just say?
I said, "Oh, you heard me the first time."
Overshawn. Wow.
You heard me. I'm excited. Wow. I cannot wait to see him come back. We lost him early in the season. That really hurt us big time.
Dave, you know how high I was on Demarion Overshawn.
Oh, exactly. And I can't wait to see him when he comes back. It's gonna be fun.
All these people from other podcasts always sit there and say, oh, they look at Mel Kiper's draft board and they say, oh, this guy's top.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Remember this name. Like I said it, Dave, even 2 weeks before our draft, I was like, you know what? Remember the name Schoonmaker. Yeah. Remember the names, okay? Remember these names, Mozzie Smith. Remember this name, Demarion Overshawn. Well, you know what? 1, 2, 3, Dave. We took him. I said him. We took him. And I said, just remember this guy's name, Overshawn. He's hurt right now, but when he comes back next year, he's going to be wearing that green dot on the back of his helmet.
And he got hurt in that preseason game. That really took us. That was against Seattle, of course. It was Seattle. Everything that we do against Seattle, we always get an injury somewhere along the line. And yeah, it's so annoying.
That and holding wet balls. You know what I mean?
Right. That too.
Yeah, we don't.
You had to bring that one up too, right?
Hey, you know what? It's off season, Dave. I can laugh about certain things right now. It's not season where it's gonna give me a heart attack remembering those things. Off season, I can laugh about it a little bit.
Right. We can laugh about it now, but
we can laugh about it. Yeah, but the season,
sure.
I'm never going to mention that again. A wet ball, Romo holding that ball. No,
like I said, Overshawn, Diggs, and hey, maybe another Diggs might show up when I expected. It could happen. I'm not saying it's going to, but
Dave, honestly, I don't think that's going to happen as much as I would love to have.
I would love it.
Here. But Dave, you got to remember, if you're going to pay CeeDee Lamb next year, you're going to argue 15 to 20 million a year, probably 20 million a year for him. Diggs is going to be right up there between 18 and 22. You can't pay 2 wide receivers 40 million a year, Dave.
Well, and I get that, but can we be patient with CD and pay him next year because it is his 4th year on a final deal?
CD's going to break. You want to sign him now, Dave, right away before they hit the market, because remember, I don't want to. I'll laugh about this right now. The guy that we gave $20 million to and gave up the farm to Oakland to bring him here, Amari Cooper. We gave him $20 million a year and got rid of him for a bag of peanuts. And
a 5th round pick too. That blew my mind.
And that's what I mean. I don't want that to happen where I want to pay the guy up front because Dave, he is elite. He is top 2 in this wide receiver,
without a shadow of a doubt.
So you got to pay a man like that because without Dave, question yourself about this. If we didn't have CeeDee Lamb, Dave, there's no way in hell that we'd be 12-5.
Well, that's for sure. The CeeDee Lamb Dak connection was very good this year. Very good.
Exactly. So he's got to get paid. So I mean, I would love to have the name.
What play? I know we're on the show and everything, but what play this year that CeeDee Lamb made sticks in your mind?
The 97-yard touchdown.
That's exactly what I was exactly right against Detroit.
Yep, the 97-yard touchdown.
Oh my God, that was amazing. Dak threw that ball on a mile. He threw that ball. Amazing.
I mean, he had some great catches, toe tap catches. Move the sticks, of course. But that just sticks out of my mind where you really look at wide receivers, how the ball's thrown to him. He can high point any ball, and he has a speed. And coming back from Oklahoma, where he played with Baker Mayfield, actually, and what he showed as a slot receiver, who he stays in his slot, but he can move outside. He's shown that he can adapt to this NFL league so much, Dave. I love how he plays the game. But Dave, moving forward here, Mike Zimmer is a great defensive coordinator. I'm glad we have him. To me, he's not best available. He's someone that fits the scheme here. So I give him a solid B plus A minus on that hiring there too. But
I'm with you.
Here's what I want to ask you, Dave. Let's move forward here. Let's go into free agency real quick. Okay.
Interesting. There's a couple names I have in my head on free agency, but go ahead.
Okay, well, let's just talk about some big names out there, Dave. We're going to leave the lower end. Let's go to the lower end first, Dave. Okay.
Okay.
And I don't think this guy's lower end to you, but I'll mention 2 guys that I think you pretty much. I'm surprised you don't have their jersey right now, Dave. J-Ron Kearse and Jordan Lewis.
Yeah, Jordan Lewis. I mean, if he comes on a cheap deal, I wouldn't mind bringing him back. I really wouldn't. I'd be okay with it.
Oh, Dave.
But Kearse wasn't as his. He didn't show up this year, as far as I'm concerned. I didn't see much of J-Ron as much as I wanted to.
Hell, I didn't even think he was on the team this year, Dave.
I forgot about him, to be honest with you. I mean, but Jordan Lewis, I'd be okay with him coming back. I know you're on the Kearse for that, but
Yeah. Rehash. Rob says, as much as I hate to say it, Dallas needs to sign a few CeeDee Lambs. I agree. Hell, you know what? A few of them. Shit, I'll take a JV CeeDee Lamb. Compared to sometimes what we have. He says CeeDee Lamb autocorrect. Evan checks in. What's going on, Evan? Hope you're feeling better, brother. Hope you're good. Down there in Louisiana.
Start Trey Lance.
Hey, you know what? We will talk about that a little bit later. But you know what? I got some little things I want to throw out there with you with Trey Lance, Dave, when we get to that point there. But what do you feel about J-Ron Kearse and Lewis? I mean, what are these? Dave, I'll be honest.
I think J-Ron Kearse is on. I don't think he'll be back next year. I just don't see it.
All right, so you got a 50-50. You got Lewis coming back?
I think Lewis is on the 50-50. I think he's got a better chance than J-Ron Kearse does.
Okay, I got them both being shipped out.
Okay.
I think so. I mean, he's not Zimmer's type guy. I mean, you compare him to a Marvin, Harrison Smith from Notre Dame, the safety there. He's a lifelong guy at Minnesota. That's what Mike Zimmer's about. I don't see, these guys, J-Ron Kearse and Lewis, being any type of that. He's not a field general, Dave. We thought about this, but I just don't think he is. I mean, you got to remember a name too, Dave. He's going to come back next year. He's on a very cheap deal. Donovan Wilson's coming back too. And
That's true.
I think he goes to
that. Well, Donovan Wilson's signed a 2-year deal, so he ain't going nowhere.
That's what I mean. He comes back one more year. We have him cheap. We already signed. Right. So I think he goes back to his natural spot and plays that strong safety spot.
Probably makes sense. Sure.
And I think they do go out and get a safety this year. I don't think they go out number one to get a safety with our first pick, which we'll talk about draft picks as well. But I think they get a safety in the category. Or you know what? Think about this, Dave. Here, you know what? Dave, remind me to talk about this. I'm not going to mention it now. I already thought about this. Okay, I played Jimmy Johnson. I played Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones in my head, and what we can do with this team. Remind me to go back to that safety position.
I definitely will. I will.
Let's go to the next guy. This is a guy I can say kick rocks, get the hell out of here. You only have a job because of Dan Quinn. Dante Fowler. He's got to go.
Yeah, Dante Fowler. Because he came back from Atlanta, then they figured that was definitely a Dan Quinn move, without a shadow of a doubt. But
big time. He was just a body saying, you know what, Coach, I know your scheme, I know your philosophy. You're light on linebackers. Come get me. I know the philosophy.
I think Dante Fowler's out of here, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think he's already packed his bags on day one in the season.
He's gone.
Yeah, and it's bad where the Commanders need linebackers. They need help everywhere, and I'm surprised that he didn't call Dante Fowler. And he knows that's telling me how bad he is, Dave. Honestly,
yeah,
you know what I mean. All right, let's talk about another game. The guy here, Dave.
Unless he did, and we don't know about it.
You know what? If he does, I think Washington is a drug test.
I think Steve would know more than we would.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, if he does, hey, wish him well. But I don't think he's a piece of the puzzle that'll fit in as a starting unit. But the other guys, Dave, I want to talk about. They do mean something to this team. Okay,
who's that?
Let's go offensive line here, Dave.
Okay,
two guys. One guy.
I know what you talk about, but go ahead.
I'm not going to talk about him first because if I talk about him, I'm probably going to break my arm talking about him. That's what he is. But let's talk about your boy Tyler from Wisconsin. Tyler from Wisconsin.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I'm up in the air on this because to me, if they keep Tyler from Wisconsin, which they should, because him and Dak had a good combination of center and quarter. Dak. If they get rid of Tyler from Wisconsin, this will be Dak's fifth center in like 6 years.
Yeah,
something like that. Fourth or fifth center, if you think about it. But I like Tyler. I do. I think he's. I think he wasn't he injured like not too long ago?
I think he missed like 3 games the whole season.
3 or 4 games, yeah, something like that. So I wouldn't mind Tyler come back. I think they give him a deal. He'll stay. He ain't going to.
I think he does come back, Dave, because he's not going to break the market out there. He's not a Jason Kelsey out there. He's not these big true centers that can demand money. So I think he takes that not league minimum, but I do think he gets, a mediocre deal that signs him probably 3 to 4 years.
I agree.
They do together because that commodity between Dak and him, you go back from Travis Frederick days when he got injured, his illness with his disease that he had, hopefully he's, cured that, of course. But you take his replacement at Wisconsin, Tyler Baez at Wisconsin, you bring him in to fit the scheme. He's done good. I'm okay with that. I hope they sign him there. But Dave, let's just talk about this guy. I think we're probably going to be
your favorite guy in all the world.
I'm probably the only son of a bitch in America that has this guy's jersey, number 77. I wasted my money on this coming out of USC, all pro, all universe, Mr. I wear knee braces on my arms because I'm so damn big. But Tyron Smith, Dave,
he wants to come back. He wants to new.
Dave, I want to stay on the 215 boys, Dave. But
I think he wants to take it. I think he'll take a cheap deal.
Cheap deal, Dave.
Well, I'm just saying, whatever cheapest to him.
Dave, $11 million is cheap.
He wants to come back. He wants one more year, and you know what? I'm okay with it.
Okay, Dave. Let me ask you this: say if we give him an $8 million deal for one more year.
I was thinking between 8 and 10.
Okay, well, let's just say let's be nice, Dave. Let's be nice because Paul Spencer's writing the checks here.
Are you writing the checks, Jerry? All right.
Hey, I got where's my checkbook? I don't even know.
I don't
even know where my checkbook's at. Probably Katie took it and went shopping, I guess. I don't know.
How dare her?
Exactly. Now she would be smart taking my credit card, but
right, exactly.
Here's the thing. Let's say we give him $8 million, Dave. Okay, 17 games a season. Basically, it's going to be $500,000 a game.
You're going to get 7 out of it, best.
Dave, you just read my mind. So how about we do this? How about we say, hey, you know what? We'll give you $5 million, and we'll give you $500,000 for every game that you played. How's that?
Right.
Because Dave, you think he's really going to play over and under? Dave probably is going to be 12 games this year.
I think out of 17 games he'll play 9.
And you want to keep him?
Yes,
Dave.
Offensive line. I need an offensive lineman. Absolutely. Somebody to block for me.
Yeah,
sure.
I wish I had some vodka in here after hearing that. God. Oh.
Okay,
man.
I'm a Tyron fan. What can I say?
Well, Dave, I'm a Tyron fan too, but let's just remember this. We We always talk about the defensive guy back then named Sean Lee. Okay, Mister, I'm injured too.
Yeah, Mister, I'm injured
Well,
every other game.
well, we got one on the offensive line, Tyron Smith, Sean Lee
I know.
2.0 too. I mean,
I agree. I totally agree with you. I'm just,
arguably, Dave, one of the best, linebackers in the game,
in the
fundamentally,
game,
team-wise,
in the game.
intelligent-wise. Then you go offensive line, Tyron Smith, all universe can be when he's healthy. But Dave,
When he's
I'm not going
healthy.
to pay a guy when he can play only. You say 9 games a year. I'm giving him 12 at the most. I don't want that.
I hear
Offensive, it's not going to work out for me, Dave. Now let's talk about.
Well, he think about it though. This year he stayed relatively healthy for the most part.
Yeah, until I seen him eating a hot dog on the damn sideline when
Well,
he said he was inactive. Okay.
He actually didn't play bad in the playoff game. You think about it, though. He really didn't.
Well, you know what, Dave? I'll be honest with you. When we got blown,
our defense got dismantled in that playoff game, but our offense wasn't that bad.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to say something. He played really well on the offensive side of the ball because we were down so much we had to throw the ball. He didn't have to run block.
Well, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Big difference between run block and pass block. And
true.
When you're down 30 points, you got to throw the ball. So. They're gonna run the safeties back to the back end, so you're really not gonna get a blitz as much.
Our defense was not there that day. Something wasn't right. I don't know what it was, but
you know what? Yeah, I can laugh about it now, Dave. But yeah.
Oh, we all can now.
All right, let's talk about another guy here, Dave. There's one guy on offense I want to talk about, but I want to move to the defense side of the ball here. Okay, let's talk about 2 guys on the defensive line, 3 guys on the defensive line. That one, I definitely have to re-sign Jonathan Hankins. We'll start with him.
I think Hank stays. Yeah.
You think he's going to demand money?
Probably. But why would you get rid of a guy like that? I mean, my God, he's big dude.
Okay, if you lose him, you go out in the first round and get Mozzie Smith last year.
Yeah, they're not going to lose. I think Hank stays. I really do. I don't think he's going to win.
Okay, so you keep that rotation with Hankins and bring Mozzie off
Absolutely.
the bench. Okay. I agree. I want Hankins to stay. There's one guy, Dave, that I really love watching. This motor of this kid. He doesn't get the name-wise recognition. Nevin Gallimore.
Yeah, I like Neville too. I do. I'm a big fan of Neville. He knows the system. He's been here a while. I don't know what kind of deal he would take. Tough to call, but I don't want to lose him. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think he's not going to demand the bank. I mean, he's not going to be one of those, top tier, not even top 40 guys, pay wise. I think he is a rotation player that gives you time off the bench, of course, to utilize the second unit coming in to give you, a rest. So I think he does stay. I think he's not going to demand as much. I think he does stay. I probably could maybe a $2 to $3 million deal here.
I was going to say 2 to 5 between that range.
Yeah, I think he does stay. I think he's a big piece of the puzzle. The other guy I want to talk about, Dave, is another guy that shows up when he wants to show up, plays great when he wants to play great. But the other time, Dave, he's learned the Tyron Smith mentality. I don't feel good. I don't want to play. Mr. Dorrance Armstrong.
Yeah, Dorrance Armstrong. I'm a fan. I like DR. I'm a big fan of his. I always was. He didn't show up in the playoffs. I don't know where he was. I don't know what's going on with that.
I mean, the whole defense didn't show up, Dave. But still,
if he were to go, I'd be okay with it. But if he were to stay, either way. I'd be 50-50 with it because he shows up against Washington. That's by the way he shows up against. That's the only time you really see him.
He shows up when he wants to. Like I said,
when he wants to play. Yeah.
But, I mean, you're probably going to keep 2 of these guys, Dave, as rotation players. But with the 3 that I mentioned there, Hankins, Gallimore, and Armstrong.
I think Hankins stays. I think Gallimore stays. If anybody would be the odd man out, it would definitely be Dorrance.
I think so too. That's what I think. I think he's going to be the odd man out. I mean, they could keep all 3 because they're not going to break the bank, Dave. We got to keep that.
No, with those 3, they're not. No.
And I think what it's going to be. They're not going to release him till late because I don't know what his roster bonus is. Players get a roster bonus on March 18th. That they get a roster bonus for being on the roster, of course. But I don't know what his is, but I think it's going to come down to Zimmer saying, you know what, he fits my 4-3 scheme. He fits this.
Right, and that's the whole thing. Right, it depends what Zimmer thinks and what he wants to do with him. Exactly.
Yeah. The other name I want to talk about, Dave. Now, this guy, we got him on a cheap deal. He's arguably, when he's on point, he could be a top 10 corner. Let's talk about Gilmore, Dave.
I think Gilmore stays. He wants to stay. He's been saying he wants to stay. He'll take a cheap deal. He ain't going anywhere.
What is the benefit of him staying, Dave?
He's a good corner.
Does he stay at corner?
Absolutely.
What do you do with Diggs coming back?
Good question.
You got Diggs broke the bank last year on his contract before he got hurt.
True. Like I said, Gilmore will take a cheap deal. Gilmore's not going anywhere.
But what do you do? I mean, what do you do? How do you play this, Dave? If you're Mike Zimmer and you got Trayvon Diggs coming off healthy off the injury, you got Deron Bland, almost DPOY this year, Defensive Player of the Year. You got Gilmore who can play solidly against anybody. What do you? Who?
But it's not a bad thing if you think about it. It's really not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, Dave. But who gets the playing time on the right corner and left corner? Who's going to be the odd man out playing the slot? Or who's going to be that rotation player? Who's going to be that guy? Is it going to be Diggs? Is it going to be Gilmore? Is it going to be Bland? What do you do?
It would probably be a tough decision. But to me, I'm keeping Gilmore no matter what.
So here, in a way, I agree with you.
In case somebody goes down, you have an extra person, so it doesn't hurt.
I agree with you. For the first time this year, Dave, I'm agreeing with you on this one. We don't agree a lot, Dave. Exactly. I'm giving you props right now, Dave. I'm giving you props. I agree with you. I think Deron Bland has earned his corner spot. Okay, I think Gilmore's learned his corner
spot. Deron Bland does get beat a lot, too, if you think about it.
Okay, well, let's go back to Diggs. How many times did he get beat?
Well, Diggs takes chances. I mean, that's what Diggs is. He's a take-chance kind of guy.
But I think Diggs has to earn his spot, even though he broke the bank. The Wells Fargo truck came to him.
But they all have to earn their spot. That's not even a question.
I think Diggs is that third guy. Even it's hard to see. It's stupid to say this, but I think he's that third guy, Dave, right now. And if he actually plays the way Diggs can play, rebounding from that injury, and even going to somewhat what he did the year before, with his interceptions, of course, I think he takes over the Gilmore spot. But what I want to see is this: if this happens, Dave, if all
Stephon said he wants to stay here, he's not going anywhere. He wants to stay in Dallas.
Dave, I want to stay in Philadelphia, but I got kicked out.
I get it, but I'm just saying that's what he wants to do, and I think they like him, so I don't see a problem with it.
Well, here's my thing. If all three corners come back healthy, Dave, Diggs comes back in preseason OTAs, looks great as hell, takes that corner spot back. Deron Bland is one of the best in the NFL, too. Arguably, you have probably, I want to say maybe two out of the top 7 corners in the league this year with Dallas. You bring in Gilmore. Here's what I'm going to say. I'd like to see this. I'd like to see Diggs play the outside with Gilmore, and I'd like to see Deron Bland go back to that secondary slot corner.
Wouldn't be a bad thing.
Because he can cover wide receivers, right?
Yeah, we've seen him. Sure.
Well, you know what? Why can't you cover a slot receiver? They're a little bit faster, so put him in a slot. Gilmore's not a slot receiver. Diggs, off the injury, I don't think he's ever played slot in his life, so I keep him on the outside too.
I'm a little concerned with the Diggs shoulder, but I think I'm saying that Gilmore's shoulder, but I think we can work around that.
He has 5 months to recover from that crap.
That's what I'm saying. I think we can work around that. Sure.
Yeah, I think he'll be okay with that one. Well, Dave, there's one more name before I want to get into.
Plus, with Gilmore, you got experience too, and that helps a heck of a lot.
True. And he's a smart corner. We showed that.
Sure, he is. He's
the only issue with him, he gives up big yards to a physical wide receiver.
He was good in New England, man. He was a good player in New England too.
Yeah, but they had a defensive scheme, and it's going to tell me about Zimmer here. If Zimmer,
they had Belichick too.
if Zimmer can actually put a blanket on top of Gilmore to help him out a little bit, I think he'll be okay. But Dave, there's one more name that we have to talk about here. A lot of people call dominoes and they deliver. Well, last year we had a guy named Tony Pollard. You call it, he hauls it. Well, Dave, I called, and he didn't haul shit.
Yeah, I think the injury had a lot to do with it.
Here's the thing, Dave. 2 questions. I mean,
as much as I hate to say that, and I like Pollard a lot, I really do. I don't think he stays. I think he's going.
Okay, here's my thing, Dave. 2 things. He can play the franchise tag, which is going to be $11 million, $10.6 million this year on a franchise tag for running.
Is that what it is?
10.6, because they can do a restricted a franchise tag where he can actually.
Well, they franchised him last year too, so go ahead.
Yeah, there's 2 different franchise tags. I think the one is like a restricted franchise tag where he can talk to other teams and they can match him, and then Dallas can match it. They have the first obligation to match it. They match it. Sure. He has to stay. The other one is if he goes on a tag there. If he signs somewhere else, Dallas does get a utility pick, a compensation pick from the other team. But here's my thing. 2 things. Do you sign him to a franchise tag, Dave, or do you let him go? What do you do?
I think you let him go.
I agree.
Go in the free agency and get somebody a little bit better, a little bit healthier.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that are free agents that you could go get. That are better than Pollard. But to me, it's up to them. I don't know what they're going to do, but I mean.
Well, Dave, I want to ask you this really quick. Okay? Pollard had a great year 2 years ago, correct?
He did. Well,
This
it's
year
because he had the 21 in front of him. But go ahead.
You read my mind, Dave. What about bringing Zeke back for a 1-year, $5 million deal and to bring back that 1-2 punch? What do you think about that? Would that help?
No.
Okay. I agree.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Dave,
Not at all. We've seen that too many times. I'm done. I'm over that now. I'm done with that.
You know what, Dave? I think during this offseason, we actually talk a lot better here because we see things differently. During the season.
I'm looking at different. I want to go free agency. I want different blood in here. Is what I want.
All right, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right. The other guy I want to talk about, Dave, is the captain of the team, Mr. Dak Prescott here. Okay.
Do we have to talk about him?
David, you know what? Everybody, talks about this. It all revolves around your quarterback. The guy who's making $40 million this year. He's talking about the extension here, Dave. And I've seen a rumor today that he could possibly break the bank at $60 million a year, Dave.
Yeah, you have to really think about that, though. I mean, he really didn't get his. What was he getting? 19 last year, or what was it?
Well, no, he got a lot more than that. I mean, I wrote it down here, Dave. What he gets last year? Okay, he got $29 million last
29,
year, a $13 million signing bonus, Dave, and a $5 million roster bonus. So that's $42 million. That's $47 million total break the bank last year.
Mm-hmm.
But you really only think about that $29 million because that's what your contract says you're claused.
Here's my thing on it. I know this is his last year of this contract, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's 59, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Well, this year exactly is going to be 29, the same thing as last year, 29, 13, and 5. So you're going to be at $47 million right now this year.
Okay. You're kind of in a corner with Dak because you kind of have to pay him. Because think about it, if you give him the 60 plus is what they're saying, 62 or 61, whatever the case may be, but you can spread that out, and you can pay CD, you can pay Micah, you can pay, you know what I'm saying? Like you can restructure that contract.
I get what you're saying, but we talked about this pre-show, Dave, where a lot of people said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you set the market and paid Dak the $40 million." When you look back at that, now you look at Mahomes, you look at Jalen Hurts, you look at Burrow, you look at Herbert, you look at all these guys damn near $55 million. Dak set the precedent. It's coming back to bite us in the ass now, Dave, because we signed him first. Now his contract coming up. It's going to the ladder here where we got to sign him again and set the bar again, Dave.
If you think about it, though, they took forever to do that contract with Dak. They really did. They took a long time for it. I blame Jerry.
I blame Dak.
I blame Jerry for that. Jerry.
There was a comment where Dak said, "I'm not."
Jerry took forever to get that contract done with Dak, when he could have done that years ago and got it over and done with.
But Dave, are you willing to pay a $60 million quarterback who hasn't shown you anything to get out of the NFC wild card or even get there yet?
Well, and I get it. I see where you're going with it. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Eileen. Hello.
Hey, Eileen. What's going on?
I get that. I really do. But if you get rid of that $60 million quarterback, which you keep talking about, teams are going to jump on him like no other.
But it saves us money because just like Evan said, we can start Trey Lance.
They're not going to start Trey Lance. Trey Lance is not ready to start in this league. I don't care what Evan says. He's wrong. Evan, you're wrong. Right. Okay, I love you, but you're wrong.
So if we sign Dak, let's just say, Dave, he's not going to take a 3-year deal. He's going to demand that 4 or 5 year deal. Okay.
Of course he is. So he's going to get his 61, 62. It's going to happen, and he deal with it. It is what it is.
All right, Dave. So we're giving him a 5-year, $300 million contract. Probably going to be $250 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that right?
So, Dave, let's see. We're on the 25 season coming up for next year. So he's going to be signed through the 2030 season on a 5-year
Dak's only,
deal,
29, 30 years old? He's young. I mean, it's not like he's 34, 35.
So you mean to tell me I have to wait another 5 years to see what he is?
No, you don't.
No?
No. He was runner-up for MVP this year. He threw 36 touchdowns and 9 interceptions this year. Now, I know he didn't show up in the playoffs.
And Mr. Irrelevant, Dave, draft pick 256, went to a Super Bowl this year.
I get it.
Who only makes $1.4 million a year, Dave.
Okay, but Mr. Irrelevant had an offense better than what Dak had.
Dak has weapons, correct?
So does Relevant.
Okay.
Debo. Ayuk, Kittle. The list goes on and on for San Francisco. We're not even close to that. So you're telling me this kid had weapons? Of course he did.
But then you go down to C.J. Stroud down there, rookie of the year, who goes down and plays with nobody down there, and he makes the playoffs, right?
Okay.
With one weapon basically.
He had a couple. He had Dalton Schultz.
Yeah,
he had a couple weapons here and there.
He wasn't that good with him.
Well, he had a couple weapons here and there. It's not like, I mean, he got bounced in the second round.
So you want to pay him? You're okay with paying him $60 million?
I'm okay with paying Dak. I really am. I have no issues with it. I really don't.
You got to back in that contract, Dave. You got to back in. You can't.
Okay, but at least I have a quarterback that I know is going to give me 30-some touchdowns a year. Is going to stay relatively healthy all season. And to me, if Cooper Rush still has one more year on his contract, and to me, Cooper Rush knows the system. He's been there. He's done that. If you want to keep 3 quarterbacks with Trey Lance, I'm fine with that.
Well, NFL allows you to keep 3 now.
I have no issues with that.
Right. The NFL allows you to keep 3 now, Dave. It's always
now. If you want to get rid of Lance and get something for him, and you want to do that, I'm okay with that too. Which they could possibly do.
Because you get that 54th guy, Dave, as a quarterback. The San Francisco rule.
That's what I'm saying. But my point being is, okay, we know what we're getting with Dak. That's okay. You're going to get a pretty good regular season with Dak Prescott.
That what you said right there, Dave. Those last 2 words, what you said to me. Okay, I'm going to go back in a bad mood again, Dave. Regular season.
Okay.
Regular season.
Which you're guaranteed a playoff spot, which anything could happen in the playoffs.
Well, based on track record, we get to the playoffs. And
okay, so he's 2-5 in the playoffs. I understand that. I get it.
Damn, he's not even. LeBron James has a better record in the playoffs than this guy did conference finals than this guy.
I get it.
I can't stand LeBron.
I know.
All right, so we're going to pay him $60 million. We're going to get a 5-year, $300 million contract. Of course,
like I said, you're stuck in a corner with this contract. There's nothing you can do about it.
Here's the thing.
Okay, either you don't pay him the 60.
Okay.
You give him the 59, which is given for the year. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And then what do? You let him walk after the season's over?
You can't let him walk.
That's what I'm saying.
Because if you let him go right now, he has a $60 million, $59 million cap space and a $60 million dead cap space. That's guaranteed money that's going out the door.
That's guaranteed money that they have to pay him.
Here's the thing, Dave, and I said this to you pre-show here.
With the no trade clause on the contract.
Exactly. He's smart enough to say, you know what, I have a no trade clause and I have a no. The other thing is they can't even tag him. He has a no tag clause too.
Exactly.
So if you sign him that 5-year deal, and you know what, damn, Dak, you got us to we won the division here. We won the first round. We're going, the second round here to go to the NFC Championship. We lost again. Shit, Dak, you're not the answer here. Well, here's the thing. You're going to pay me anyway because I have a no trade clause. You can cut me, which I'm going to screw you because I already got $250 million up front.
Right. Dak holds all the cards.
Of course he does. That's the thing.
That's my point.
All right. Enough about Dak, man. Enough about Dak.
I'm talking about Dak.
Oh, God, Dak, I'm telling you, if you get your $50 million, $60 million, you better put that
hell up. Evan, I would love to see Trey Lance play. I really would. I have no issues with Trey Lance. I would love to see what Trey Lance can do.
Let's talk about Trey Lance here, Dave. Of course, he's going to be on the roster because you're always going to keep 3 quarterbacks. The NFL
I think you should. There's a lot of teams do.
Well, every team does now because of the fact if your backup gets hurt, you always have that utility quarterback going to the San Francisco, against the Eagles, all the Eagles.
Or you get something for him and you can during the draft. Maybe
here's my thing. Here's my thing. Dak never plays in preseason. We know that, right?
Nope.
Cooper Rush gets all the snaps, right?
Pretty much.
I think we see a lot of Trey Lance in the preseason this year.
I would love to see it. I would.
You know why? Trade bait.
Why?
Trade bait.
Exactly.
Rosters, draft picks.
Yep.
I think they do that. I think they showcase
him. I think they do too.
I think they showcase him. You know what? Hey, go out there and play because you're going to be a third-string quarterback. You're not going to beat Dak out. You're not going to beat Cooper Rush out. You're going to be the third quarterback. So go out there and play your balls off and put an audition on for other teams. I think that happens because Dave, we only gave up a 5th-round pick for this guy.
That's what I'm saying. But I personally, I love Cooper because he knows the system. He's been here too long.
And he's cheap. He's very cheap.
And he's cheap. Exactly.
And you know what? Who goes out? He can manage the game. He's a manager. We all seen that. He's not a downfield thrower.
We've seen Cooper Rush win games when Dak went down.
Oh, of course. I mean, 4-1. Hey, why not take him?
Right.
What
That Minnesota game really sticks in my mind, though. When he played his ass off that game. He really did.
Yeah,
That was a great game for him.
In a way, I wish Dak would have gone down that playoff game to see Cooper Rush manage that game the way he did.
It would have been interesting.
Would have been. But here's the thing, Dave. Okay, let's talk about some draft needs here really quick, Dave. Where do you see the Dallas Cowboys? What do they need the most in your opinion?
To me, we need a linebacker, bro. I don't trust Van Der Esch to save life. I really just don't. I mean, I know he's got what. I know he's got one more year on his deal, but to me, Van Der Esch is you can't trust him on the injury report. You don't know.
Hold on a second, Dave. I heard somebody say something real quick. Yeah, I remember that. Oh, the guy over across the street just yelled to me, Dave. He's like, "Hey, Paul, were you the one that said Demarion Overshawn before the draft started?"
Exactly.
Remember, he's coming back, Dave. Remember, he's coming back.
I know, but I'm just saying, but Van Der Esch does have one more year on his contract. So
Tyron Smith 2.0.
Exactly.
Okay.
But I mean, with Van Der Esch, so it's a neck injury, and you don't want to play with that. So
okay. I agree with you, Dave, going linebacker. I don't think we go that high on linebacker, but, we talk all the time off camera, Dave, like my little brother, we always talk to each other here.
Yep.
And I want you to remember, I'm going to give you a pre-linebacker name that you can watch all these other podcasters out there who read Mel Kiper's draft board and say, this. He's from Georgia. He's from Alabama.
Good old Mel Kiper.
Those guys, other podcasters say they know the NFL draft here or they watch college football. But,
who are you looking at?
I'll tell you what, Dave. There's a linebacker from Texas A&M. Okay. Edgerrin Cooper. Remember that name. Okay.
There's that name again.
Edgerrin Cooper. Remember that name.
Cooper. Okay.
Better than Amari. Okay. 6'2", 245, stud linebacker, speed. I think he is a prototype Demarion Overshawn. I think if he falls to the 24th pick, I think you go after and grab him. I really do. He's that type of player, Dave. I really think he's good. I'm just me. I'm trying to figure out what we did last year.
I'll write that down.
I think he's a really solid guy. He plays at A&M. A&M's a big run team. They stop the run very good. I think he's going to be a solidified pick. So remember that name, Edgerrin Cooper. There. I think he's a solid. The other guy that I'm going to say, Dave, at linebacker. Yeah. This guy reminds me, I'm not going to even put him in the category, but he reminds me of two people, Dave. He reminds me of a Luke Kuechly, okay? Smart, fundamental football guy. Not big size, fundamental. The other guy he reminds me of Dallas is probably going to be a Sean Lee. That IQ level, okay?
Wow, that's big.
He plays from Ohio State, Tommy Eichenberg.
Okay.
I think he's going to be a solid second to third round pick if he drops. If he drops that far, you definitely take him. The only linebacker that I would see taken in the first round would probably be Cooper that high. But if Eichenberg falls that far in the second, third round, I think you go with him because linebackers, they're strong. But this draft, Dave, is a lot of D tackles and O tackles. So I think
wasn't last year's draft a lot of quarterbacks too?
Yeah, I mean, I see what the drafts look like this year. I did a mock draft, of course, which we're going to do at NFL Draft Live on Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, of course. But yeah, I think the quarterbacks go 1, 2, and 3, which I don't see happening, but I think they do. But I think this offensive tackle, I think 4 wide receivers go in the top 20 this year, Dave.
Gotcha.
I think so. Marvin Harrison's going to be consensus.
Well, we know he's going. He's definitely going to be going this year.
You got Malik Neighbors. You got Romo Doozy. Of course, you got all these wide receivers coming.
Where do you think? Where do you think Harrison ends up?
It's going to be Arizona.
Okay.
I think he's going to Arizona. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Kyler would love him.
Yep, and I think for all you Giants fans out there, I think you guys are going to get Malik Neighbors, who's probably going to be. To me, this is the crazy thing. We always talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. being the best wide receiver, which he is. But Malik Neighbors in the Blankenkoff Award, Dave, the best wide receiver in college football, only fell 1 vote behind Marvin Harrison Jr. for the voting this year.
Oh wow! So
he's that damn good. He's that damn good. So They can't go wrong with that one. But what do you feel about offensive tackle, Dave? Let's talk about Tyron Smith exits the building. Let's say if we sign him, okay, but wouldn't you now, Dave, go ahead and go get that guy that plays offensive tackle to take over Tyron
for a draft pick? Sure.
Yeah, in the first round. If somebody's there, Dave, do you go out and get him?
I would.
I mean, this draft is deep in offensive tackles, Dave. There's probably top 10 offensive tackles that I would be purely fine with this year.
Well, at 24, it depends what's there.
Do you at that point? Do you go best available? Do you feel that need for the future, or
I think you would have to go best available. That would be my sure.
Or do you take or do you? Oh, here's the thing: if you're sitting at 24, David, there's 2 offensive linemen that's probably top 20 picks still on the board, of course, because there's going to be a lot of wide receivers going. There's going to be quarterbacks going. So those top 20 offensive tackles are going to be available at your point. So let's say if you have the 14th best offensive tackle and 15th best offensive tackle there, you're sitting at 24. Do you say, damn, you know what, we got to draft for Tyron Smith here, just in case he gets hurt? Or do you say, you know what, shit, we got to go linebacker, we got to go safety, we got to go running back maybe? What do? Do you just take best available offensive tackle?
That depends on what Mike Zimmer wants or what they want to do. I mean, what's Dallas looking at? I like linebacker personally. That's just me.
Okay.
Because I think we're weak there.
Okay.
But taking a tackle, I would not mind that at all. I mean,
I agree.
I think our offense is strong enough that we're okay there. I think defensive wise, we really need help there. So
I think so too. I think Tyron Smith can kick out, of course, and there's always a left tackle or right guard, a left guard that you can pull in, of course. I mean, Josh Ball played okay last year, a couple of games where he played.
Josh Ball.
But hey, it's a body that you can work with, of course. I think you can fill that spot, of course. Free agency too. You're going to get a guy in free agency. Left tackle is something important. I think.
Left tackle is definitely important. I'm not saying it's not, but my point is, I think linebacker is really where we got to go.
Okay, I think we go. I think we go G first. I think
last time the Cowboys had our linebacker core wasn't the greatest. I mean, it was okay.
Well, you think about it, going back to like the Dat Nguyen days, you know what I mean? Those days.
Those days, sure.
But I think we go offensive tackle first. Where do you see
if that's where we go, great.
Where do you see a running back coming in play?
Oh, good. See, I think we go free agency in there.
Who do you grab?
There's a couple names in mind that I've thought of.
Are we going to talk about Derrick Henry?
That's the one I want.
Can we talk about Saquon Barkley?
I wouldn't mind him either.
Can we talk about Austin Eckler?
I wouldn't mind him either.
Can we talk about DeAndre Swift?
Thought about him too.
Okay, so talk to me.
But I wouldn't mind Derrick Henry. I think Dallas's offensive line with Derrick Henry would be really would be something to really.
Here's the thing I want to say. Okay, if you sign Tony Pollard, that's 11. Let's just kick it up $1 million. That's 11.
There's another guy that I thought of too. Cincinnati running back
Mixon.
Yep.
I don't think Mixon fits this scheme. He's a outside runner. He's not.
I wouldn't mind him though. I'd be okay with it.
I think if you had the offensive line that Dallas had prior to this year, healthy wise, I think that would be a good guy. But I don't think Joe Mixon fits this scheme because he's a Pollard running back. He has the speed, he has the get-up ability, but he's not that physical guy, Dave.
Like I said, out of those 4 or 5 guys, I wouldn't mind Mixon, but to me, it's either Derrick Henry. See, it's going to be interesting to see where Derrick Henry goes.
Okay, let me ask you this. $10 million. Franchise tag is, let's kick it up to 10.2. Let's kick it up to $11 million. Let's set it at $11 million for the franchise tag for running back. Pollard, $11 million franchise tag.
No.
If all of them are $11 million, okay, which they're not going to get $11 million signing here. But let's just say if it was $11 million, Tony Pollard, Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, who do you take?
Derrick Henry.
I like that name, Dave. I really do.
I love Derrick Henry. I can't get out of it. When I found out he was a free agent, I was like, get Derrick Henry.
And we know he's not coming back to Tennessee because that little closing statement that he made,
I wouldn't mind Barkley either, to be honest with you. Sorry, Giant fans, but I wouldn't mind Barkley either.
To me, you know what? I'm gonna go Derrick Henry here. He's played injured a couple seasons. He's played good games. Barkley, I don't want to give a big contract to.
Barkley's always gets hurt too. So
that hamstring or that is gonna give way. So for me, I got to go out and King Henry and get him.
I think King Henry's where it's at.
But here's the thing: if you don't draft, you can go out and get a free agent running back. Dave, where do you draft a running back in this draft?
Tough to say. I don't know. I really don't know. Second, third round.
You know me. I love running backs and I love offense, Dave. Okay, I'm gonna give you some names, Dave. Okay.
Okay.
I watched a couple people on a couple shows, just to get some input, what they're saying for the draft picks. Everybody's saying 2 names. Bucky Irving from Oregon.
Okay. Oregon.
Whoever said Bucky Irving, you're full of shit. He sucks. Okay.
Okay.
So if you're talking about him on your show, you're just reading Mel Kiper's draft board.
Okay.
Best available. The other guy I want to talk about is Braylon Allen, Wisconsin. Physical.
I heard his name earlier today. I think I heard that
he
name.
is like not the size of Ron Dane. He's not that size. Corey Clement, of course, he's not that kind of size running back. He's a physical guy who runs downhill. Wisconsin is known for running the ball. We know that. But Dave, I'm going to give you two names here. Okay, you ready for this, Dave?
I'm ready.
We all talked about Texas last year. Who came out of Texas last year? Brian Robinson.
Brian Robinson. Yes. Right? Yes.
There's another back better than him this year, coming from the same college. Jonathan Brooks.
I've heard that name.
Good running back, but I don't want him either. If I'm going running back, Dave, there's a running back in the third to fourth round that I would definitely take. Dave, you know what college football team I represent, right?
Yes, I do.
The Notre Dame Fighting Irish. There's one guy's name, Dave. You ready for this one?
I'm ready.
6'1", 235-pound, Jerome Bettis 2.0, Audric Estime.
You've mentioned his name a couple of times.
Downhill runner, physical back.
On your Notre Dame show, you've mentioned him many times.
Fourth, fifth round, Dave. I think you go out and get him. Everybody's saying Blake Corum. Blake Corum is a good guy, but size-wise, he doesn't pan out in the NFL to me. He really don't. He's like a Deuce Vaughn in college. Run the ball. And people say he's going to be a top running back pick. A lot of these NFL teams, they don't have the offensive line that Michigan University has, Dave. That fundamental, stout offensive line. You're going into the NFL where you maybe have 3 out of the top 5 linemen that you can run behind. In the NFL, it's a 5-on-5 system, so college is a big difference. I'm not going Blake Corum either. If it's me, I'm going third to fifth round. I'm going to get Austin Eckler. I'm sorry, I'm not. If Eckler's out there, I get him, of course, in free agency. But I got to go Audric Estime. I mean, I think he's going to be a huge pickup. Yep. So
I think that sounds good.
But you know what, Dave? Speaking of draft picks here, I want to say one thing. You mentioned the name, what Zimmer really wants to do, correct?
Yep.
Dave, I don't think he's going to have the input because we have one guy on our draft advisory board now. His name is Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson.
What is his role, Dave? What do you think Jimmy?
I don't know. I don't know what his role is. Is it like advisory? I don't even know what that is. I have no idea.
I don't know, but I tell you what.
I wish I did know, but I don't know. Is he in Jimmy's ear? I mean, Jerry's ear? Is he? I don't know.
You know what, Dave? I'll be honest with you. I don't know what his role is. I think it was just, his comment was, I'm back in Dallas. I'm on the advisory board, of course.
What is an advisory board? I'm trying to figure that out.
I don't know. I've been tweeting.
Somebody please explain it to me because I don't know what that means.
I've been looking around. I looked at other teams. Nobody really has an advisor.
Is he advising Jerry what to do?
Well, you know what? Maybe it's the same role as Pete Carroll. On the advisory board here to help.
Right. Right.
But Dave, doesn't it sound good? Jimmy Johnson, Dallas Cowboys.
I love that he's back. I'm very excited. I finally, those two finally got on the same page and they can work together. I mean,
we all say working together, but we really, like you said, we don't know what Jimmy.
We don't know.
If it's draft picks, fine, because he's Dave. He's an NFL analyst. He knows all these things. He knows, he coached college, won national.
Is he going to work with shots on the offense? Is he going to work with him on the defense? What's he?
I don't know what he does. I think he's going to come in here.
Is he going to be in Jerry's ear and say, take this guy, take that guy? I don't know.
I think he has to, Dave. He built the Dallas Cowboys to what they were, to what they in the '90s, what they became.
Right. I would take Jimmy Johnson's advice and not even think twice. Listen.
As long as he's on the board, he can. He has an ear say out there to both ears out there. Jerry, of course. To me, I'm just saying, like, okay, in the war room, I can just see it now. We're taking this guy, and Jimmy slaps him in the face and say, hell no, we ain't taking his ass. We're taking this guy right here. I hope that does happen because Jimmy Johnson is a well-educated coach,
dude,
college and pro.
Can you imagine if he stayed like 3 or 4 more years? Oh, my God.
Well, what?
We would have won at least 2 or 3 more.
Dave, you just made me happy for a second. If he
I'm just saying we would have won at least 2 or 3 more.
All right, even if Switzer, after Switzer's year, he won that Super Bowl, Dallas still had that team intact. He probably
that was Jimmy's team, though.
Of course. A monkey could have fucking coached that team, Dave. We know that. Hell, even people from other podcasts could have coached that team and won a championship with them. You know what I mean? But
this is true.
Yeah, some of those podcasters out there. But speaking of that, though, Dave, you think about it. I think we could have won probably 2 more NFL championships after that.
I think at least 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm. But hey, listen, the draft is coming up here, Dave. We don't get into what our record's going to be.
When is the? I know it's in April, but when is the draft? I have no idea.
I think it's April 13th or something like that. Usually, like the second weekend or something like that.
I thought it was like usually third weekend in April, isn't it?
I think it's like 13th or 14th or something right there. Yeah, we got time there. We got time. So
where is it this year? I don't even know.
I don't even know. As long as if it's not my neck of the woods, I could care less.
Is it not in Vegas? Is it?
I don't know. But I'll tell you what, Dave. Listen, here's my thing. I don't go to drafts because of the fact, how I am, Dave. Like, I'm going to pat myself on the back. First time this year, I'm going to do it this year. I picked our top 3 picks last year. Even before the draft happened, I picked our top 3 picks, 1, 2, and 3. So here's my thing. I don't like to go to drafts because if they take someone that I think, what the hell are you doing? I might be that guy that gets arrested, Dave.
You'd be that guy.
You know what I mean? Like with the 24th pick, the Dallas Cowboys pick, Jim Bobby Boo Boo. I'm going to jump up and say, what the F is this? Okay. And Dave, the funny thing is you watch these drafts and you see
North Dakota State.
Yeah, don't go to North Dakota State. Oh my God. These people from North Dakota State. Oh my God. But Jimmy Bobby Babaluno, whatever we did. Yeah, right? You watch these drafts. Half the people that go to these drafts, when they say a name that they don't even agree with, they're doing this. Yes, jumping around. Like, then you look at their buddy and saying, who the hell is he?
Who is he?
Like if you watch enough college sports, you of course a great player can be taken. You take best available. We always say that, Dave. But when you have pieces, you got to find the pieces that fit. You can't take best available all the time, Dave.
Right.
I mean, when Tyler Smith was drafted, okay, I agree with that. Best available player, only issue with him is the only issue was with the offensive penalties, the false starts, the holdings.
Yeah. That
can be worked on. But you look at some of these players, Dave, and it's like, I won't go to a draft because I'll probably get arrested if they pick the wrong player.
Did you happen to watch the press conference with Mike Zimmer? So it was so funny. They were asking questions to Mike Zimmer, like they kept asking questions to Zimmer. And Zimmer goes, "You can talk to Coach Mike over here." And Mike goes,
you told me that.
Yeah, Coach Mike goes, "You're doing great. Keep going." I thought that was kind of funny.
Exactly. Yeah, because Mike McCarthy's probably scared. They're like, "Okay, let's talk about the offense. What the hell happened?" Next question.
And then Zimmer goes, "You're doing a great job with the offense. Keep it up."
Just scheme a little bit better is what I would have said. But
all right, what's Rob saying here?
Rob said Jimmy Johnson had never left. He always had been remaining the advisory role. However, Jerry Jones got the ego, the best of him. No, I agree.
He did.
We talk about it all the time. You always say Landry was the best coach in history.
To me, he always will be.
I agree with that, but honestly, like to me, 77 was really when I first started watching football before the Landry days. So to me, my really glance with Jimmy Johnson.
Well, my Landry days was with Danny White, Dorsett.
Yeah, you got Danny White days. Yeah,
Tony Hill.
I mean, I watched it. I watched it then.
Randy White. That was my Dallas days. I mean, dude, Danny White was our quarterback and our punter back in the day.
I remember one time I was sitting there and my dad was like, I was like, why is he lined up so far back on 4th down? Dad, he's the QB. He's like, he's going to kick it. And I'm like,
he's the punter.
Oh, okay. And I remember that. But I look at Jimmy Johnson and what he did with this team, Dave. The years that we had.
Jimmy and Buddy, those days were great. Buddy Bowles, Buddy.
How he rebuilt the team. How he rebuilt the team is what I see. So we had some legendary coaches. As long as we don't talk about Dave Campo, those guys.
Chad Gailey. Oh my God.
Oh God, Dave, you just made me throw up again. Jeez, God. Oh.
Cupcake himself. Yeah,
I put the Clapper ahead of Campo and Gailey.
What about the defensive coach we had, the Cupcake guy? I can't think of his name.
Campo?
No.
Campo was the defensive guy.
They called him Coach Cupcake.
Who?
He's big defensive mind. Huge defense. I can't think of his name. I see his face. Wade Phillips. Yes.
He should have never been a head coach. He should only be the DC.
I agree with that. But
hell of a defensive coordinator, but a head coach guy.
Good old Wade Phillips, yeah.
He reminds me of a guy that can coach defense just like Dan Quinn. You know what I mean? Goes to be head coach, makes it to the promised land, then you get blown out because you have too much on your plate.
Chan Gailey, Dave Campo.
God.
Bill Parcells. There you go.
Bill Parcells, too. I mean, he's probably not one of my top 3. He's probably sitting at 4 or 5.
He was Parcells. But he turned this team around. If you think about it. I mean,
yeah, I mean, he made Romo.
he did. He made Tony. He did.
Which is a good thing. But Dave, anything else? I mean, we want to talk about.
Puts Romo against the Giants. Romo's like, okay, great.
Oh my God. Well, listen, we'll be back on every other week here unless something breaking, of course, tunes in there. But before we get out of here, we got to talk about our little sponsors really quick.
I was going to say, we'll bring out your little sponsorship there.
Yeah, we got to do some sponsorship of guys out there. Guys, listen, if you guys need a lawyer out there, please reach out to Jason Fine, Attorney Big Al, 1-800-HURT-123, motor vehicle accident, slip and fall, workman's comp, personal injury claims, 3 convenient locations. First in New Jersey, Cherry Hill, New Jersey, 3 Greenford Lane. Of course, you can reach him there. That's his sister office. And, of course, his main office is in PA, Philadelphia, PA, 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 2120, on top of the big building there right across from the Comcast Center. So you need him, reach out to him. Of course, in my neck of the woods, Pittsburgh, PA, we got you covered here, 500 Grand Street. So make sure you call that number, 1-800-HURT-123. Ask for Big Al. And if you don't get Big Al on the phone, you might get Little Paul on the phone here, taking the calls up in Pittsburgh here. So reach out to him. Make sure you state the case. Mention Out of the Box Sports Entertainment. And I promise you this, 3 things: no recovery, no fee, guaranteed rate of the family discount of OTBS Sports. That is Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, 33 1/3%. Not 50, not 45, not 40, not 35, 33 1/3%. Try to find that with another lawyer out there. It ain't going to happen because to me and Jason Bond, your family, Out of the Box Sports Entertainment. So make sure you reach out to him, of course, 1-800-HURT-123. And while you're at it, get some great coffee out there. MonkeyColdCoffee.com, the evolution of flavor-infused coffee. Newest flavor, good God, the flavor of the year. The flavor, I haven't tried it yet. I ordered it, honey agave. And also, you like honey? Barrel-aged honey, home brewed it, made perfectly. Get it out there. Bourbon chocolate chip, toasted almond coconut, toasted coconut rum. Best flavors available. Sumatra Flame, Palula, Florida. Make sure you get it. Use promo code OTBS Sports at monkeycoldcoffee.com. Get a t-shirt, get a cup, get whatever you need. monkeycoldcoffee.com. Every order, Matt, the owner, gives it to the National Pediatric Foundation, gives it back, pays it forward. So make sure you reach out to monkeycoldcoffee.com and make sure you use that promo code OOTB Sports at monkeycoldcoffee.com. You can thank me later. Promise
Get your Monkey Cold Coffee, everybody.
I'm telling you, monkeycoldcoffee.com. Get your cup too. I got a cup.
1-800-HURT-123, Attorney Big Al.
Exactly. So make sure you reach out to them. So Dave, before we get out of here, man, what else can we talk about real quick? We got about 5 minutes before we wrap this up here. What else can we talk about?
Hey, we still have the best kicker in the league, baby.
You know what, Dave? Let's talk about this really quick. You and I had a disagreement about something. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I got a disagreement with you, okay?
Oh, God.
You ready for this? What else is there, right? What else is there?
Brandon, baby.
Okay. Since you mentioned, our kicker there, great kicker.
I love him. I miss him. I love him. He'll be back.
Let's talk about something that after the Super Bowl, well, before the Super Bowl happened here, Dave, the NFL Pro Bowl.
What a disaster that was.
You said it was good.
Actually, it wasn't bad. It was kind of like,
Dave,
it was kind of fun to watch. I watched it. I watched the whole third quarter of it.
Okay, you watched 1 quarter out of 4.
Well, actually, I watched third and fourth. I didn't watch first two. I missed first 2.
What do you like about? Okay, you know what? I do like some of the things. I enjoyed. Dave, I hate to say this.
Flag football. That's what I liked about it. It was fun.
Okay, the only thing I liked about this whole thing, Dave, was one thing. It was actually the tic-tac-toe with the kickers.
That was cool. I enjoyed that. I did.
I really liked that. I was like, holy shit, this is pretty cool. I kind of like this little new thing here. I kind of like that. But Dave, other than that, the flag football, the dodgeball, the tug of war, Dave, I can get away from that stuff because
I got you.
Dave, I'm old school. I want to see Sean Taylor come out there and whip somebody's ass. You know what I mean? That's what I want to see. I don't want to see this. I know, Dave, there's always no stunt, no twist. I get that. I understand that. You're not going to put your quarterback in danger.
Well, the guys seem like they were having a good time.
But Dave, wouldn't you rather see a full padded game? The best, the best players out there playing for something? Because I read something on Twitter, Dave, where players were backing out because the only reason that they came there is because the winning team got like $150,000.
Well, what's worse, the All-Star game for the NBA or that come on?
Okay, well, here's the thing. I can actually watch the NBA All-Star game, the game.
That was terrible.
The dunk contest, I can't watch because those dunks suck. And congratulations to Matt McClung, of course.
Yeah, Matt McClung. Yeah, congratulations.
Back-to-back championships, of course. But
and Dame for 3-point contest.
I don't.
Back-to-back.
If he ain't going to show me Craig Hodges and Larry Bird, I don't watch that anymore. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I still miss, I still remember Bird shooting the last Moneyball when he shot the ball. He just put his hand up like, that's it. You know what I mean? Those are my days, Dave. But this NFL Pro Bowl, man, Dave, I'm telling you, Dave, you know what? I think I think what you do from now on is you take the two Pop Warner best teams in the nation and you ship them over, to play for the championship and let the players just sit on the sideline and watch the game.
You could.
But to me, Dave, it's a joke. I mean, it's just
it wasn't. Some of it really wasn't that bad. I mean, it was it was more like watching like kind of outside door football, like something we would play on on the grass, like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi type deal.
That's what I mean. This takes me back to like the Edmond Street games of playing football and the concrete outside. Like, okay, no stunts, no twist. Okay, I got your flag. Hell, we played physical football. The only time you were down is when your head hit a car or hit the concrete. Here,
right, exactly. Yeah.
But it is what it is. But what grade do you give the Pro Bowl, Dave? I give it a D.
I give it a C minus.
All right, so you're still below the grade there. Okay,
I'm still below, but I kind of like the games they did with the tug of war and the kicking game was pretty cool. The tic tac toe, I was into that.
I was going to give it an F, other than the tic tac toe. The tic
tac toe game was fun. I because I saw that last year. They had that last year too. It was fun to watch.
That's the only thing I like watching, Dave. Honestly, is that that's a new thing that I like watching there. So, but other than that, I don't get it, man. I just don't.
Brandon was in it. That's why I watched it.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was something new to me because I like, how the kickers, the kickers are unsung guys, of course, except for your eyes, they're, kudos to them. But
hey, kicker wins games, man.
Yeah, it's good that we have a kicker now, finally. You know what I mean?
But we do.
But other than that, Dave, I mean, what else can we talk about here? What before we do final thoughts here? What do you want to say? I mean, we're going to be back every other week. Of course.
Final thoughts. Well, I'm glad it's over. I'm glad the season's over.
Thank God.
Thank God for that. It was torture going through that whole playoff. All those playoffs and not seeing us in there the first round. But no, I'm glad it's over. Just enjoy the off season. Let's see who goes where. It's going to be interesting to see what player goes where and free agency and all that fun stuff and who gets paid and who doesn't. And take it week by week. Have fun with it. That's all I can tell you.
Hell, I like how you said take it week by week. Hell's going to be going on 30 years this year, Dave.
Well, I get it, but hey, welcome back, Jimmy Johnson. I think that's huge for us. Very big.
Yeah, but we still don't know what the hell his role is, Dave. That's
we don't know, but and welcome Coach Zimmer. Let's see what he's about. And
we always say, Dave, every year's a new year. Everybody's 0-0 here. We're on
Everybody's 0-0. Exactly.
Yeah, so we'll see what it is. But Dave, when are you back on this week?
I will be back on Saturday night at 10, talking WWE wrestling. We will be talking Elimination Chamber, which is actually at Saturday morning at 5 a.m. If you're up at that hour, you can watch it.
Are you going to be?
I will be. Absolutely.
Okay, here's the deal. I've been sleeping pretty good, Dave. I usually go to bed around like 2:30 to like 6:30 in the morning now. So I'm going to tell you what. If you buzz my phone between those times and you're telling me, "Oh, watch this match, Dave," I'm coming to your house that afternoon. I'm going to smack you. Okay. Don't. Well,
you can check. Like I said, you can check me out Saturday at 10 o'clock. We'll do the Atomic Drop podcast where we talk a lot of Elimination Chamber, and we are on the road to WrestleMania, so we'll be talking a lot about that too. So check us out Saturday night, 10 o'clock. Me and my big man Ken, and maybe Eddie will jump in. Who knows? We'll see.
Make sure you check out them guys. There's all of our shows as well. Make sure you check them out. All our shows Monday through Sunday. We have something for everybody. Of course, new shows coming up. New shows coming within the next 3 or 4 weeks here. College Football Frenzy with back myself and Bill. Still doing the NFL Draft Pick Show. We're going to be doing that live, of course. And myself and Dan, we're going to go through all the NFL divisions this coming up next Thursday. We'll talk about that. Sully Squad on Monday night. Got Commanders Gridiron. Great shows all week long, so make sure you tune into them. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, OTB, Box Sports, and Twitter. Of course, right down below us, follow us there. So please subscribe to us. It's about the viewers that make us. We don't make the show, you guys make us, and we're very happy that you guys check into us. Follow us wherever you're at. Great content from us. So please,
you will get the text message at 5 a.m. It's Chamber time, baby.
Dave, if you text me, I swear to God, Dave.
First match, here we go.
So here's my question, Dave, really quick. Okay. Is SmackDown worth watching this week because it's at 5
Well,
o'clock?
it was already taped. So it was taped.
Okay, that's my question. Okay,
it was already taped. So if you want to really watch it, you can, but that's up to you.
Okay, so it was already taped. Okay,
it was taped. Yeah, actually, it was taped. I believe last week. I'm not mistaken.
All right. So that's why all the matches, the qualifiers, have already been set in place. Okay.
Yeah, there's no way they're going to make it from. They're in Australia. There's no way they're going to do that.
That's what I mean. I was thinking like, damn, that jet lag alone, you're going to be like doing off the top turnbuckle.
No, SmackDown's but taped. They'll show it on Friday night, then go in the chamber on Saturday.
Also, real quick before we get out here, I do want to give a kind shout out there. We have one of our members, Phil Haney, who does the NFL Pick'em Show, not the Pick'em Show, the NFL Talk with me every Friday night. We're not going to be on this week, probably going to be on for a couple weeks here. But I want to give a shout out to Phil. His father just had triple bypass heart surgery. So we wish you well. And out of the box, of course, you're always in our prayers, man. So Phil, take care of your family. He actually went out to Colorado for about 3 months, take care of his father. So our prayers are with you, brother. So make sure your father's
prayers, definitely.
Definitely, please.
Shout out, prayer to my sister's husband, Harry. He's not doing too good right now. He's in the hospital at Crozier. So prayers out to him.
Definitely. So guys, also I want to say my hand's fine now. If you can look at it, I got a.
Oh, it's fine now.
Yeah, they put it like, I don't know if you can see it, but they put a little screw through my hand. But the only bad thing about this, I can move it really good. But the only bad thing about Dave is, you know what? I'm pissed off about one thing.
What's that?
I can't play Madden right now because my finger doesn't move.
You'll find a way.
Yeah, I need a monitor now. But Dave, what's the final thoughts, real quick, before we get the hell out of here?
Final thoughts. Enjoy your week, everybody. Weekend coming up. Have a great weekend and keep following what's going on in Cowboy Nation, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting next couple months. We'll see what happens.
Definitely. Final thoughts for myself is, prayers out there, everybody out there that needed it, of course. Just be blessed and don't take anything for granted because everything we have is not given to us. It's not earned. It's an entitlement, not an entitlement, but it's something that is given to us by the man upstairs. So make sure you say your prayers every night and call somebody you haven't talked to. Give someone a hug they haven't talked to. Be kind to everybody. Pay it forward because you never know when your time's about to happen. So just be kind to everybody. In Cowboy Nation, it's been 30 years coming up. So
we're still waiting.
We're still waiting too. So hey, we have everything in life that we want, Dave, except for a damn championship, brother.
Well, we have 5. We need more.
Dave, I need a quest for 6. I've been saying that for 30 years.
We thought this was it. This really was a good chance for us this year.
The last 4 years have been pretty good chances, Dave.
Well, this is true.
Well, it is what it is.
That guy Mahomes guy, he keeps winning all the time. So,
Yeah, but you know what the funny thing is, Dave? I tell everybody this. I argue with a lot of people about this, and I love all fans out there. The camaraderie is good to real fans, but my thing is this, Dave. When you call myself or Dave, a bandwagon fan, the only thing I'm going to tell you is kick rocks because, brother, we still talk about shit 30 years ago. We still live our team and die by our team. So you call me a bandwagon fan, brother, you better watch some more podcasts because we ain't no bandwagon fan here. So, Dave, you ready to get out of here, man?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, my guy. My name is Paul Spencer. That is Dave Yarnell. We are the 215 Boys, and we will be back in 2 weeks unless something breaking comes up where Dave is going to be texting me saying we got Derrick Henry. So if that happens, we'll be live.
Hey, he'll be the first, or he'll break it to me, one or the other.
Definitely. So make sure you check us out. Of course, we'll be back in 2 weeks. Them 215 Boys. Dave, as we always say, what do we say before we get out of here?
Go, boys, go.
You already know. See you in 2 weeks. Have a good night.
Later.